Okay, here we go everybody. Good evening to all of you. It's great to see you here. I hope you're all well. It's been a hot day here, which is not my favourite. Hi there, Count. Good to see you. Okay, so I hope you've all been studying hard. Today we're going to look at some of the meanings with the verb to get, but phrasal verbs with get, which, well, I know a lot of you are rather frightened of the verb get, but if you want to speak good English, you really need to try activating the verb get. Good evening, Jack, and good evening, Arad, and good evening, Daipen, and good evening, Andre, and Cheyenne as well. Okay, that's a lot of people coming in all of a sudden. And Victor Gabriel's here as well. That's brilliant. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to start with... Okay, good evening, Zira, as well. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to start with was actually a question from Roland. So, good evening, Rohan. Good evening, Sethmit. Good evening, Isam. Wow. No, you just did it perfectly. To get over, to recover. Yeah, that's it. And that's one of the verbs I don't think we'll get as far as over today, but that's the idea, Roland. So I want to look at the verbs elude, avoid, avert, dodge, and evade. And Roland asks, are these words interchangeable with each other? Good evening, Vibes. Great to see you. So are they interchangeable? No, they're not. So let's just look at some meanings of them. Okay, so the first one here we've got is to evade. To elude or to escape from something or someone, especially by using skill. Yeah, so he managed to elude the police. Yeah. And then the next one, to shake off a pursuer, to give someone the slip. He managed to elude the person that was following after him. And the final one, to escape the understanding of, to be incomprehensible to. So the meaning of this eludes me. Good evening, Malia. Great to see you. Okay, so the answer to this question eludes me. Okay, so yeah, to elude, to run away, to escape from by using your skill or cunning. Yeah, the meaning can be different with context as well. So to avoid, to make something miss you. Yeah, I avoided the slap easily. I avoided meeting my ex. To keep away from, to keep clear of, to stay away from. I tried to avoid the company of gamblers. To try not to do something or to have something not happen. Okay, so this is avoid. I think avoid is probably slightly more general. Let's see, I think you avoid something that's coming towards you, you dodge it, whereas you elude something that's chasing you. Okay, so to avert, to turn aside or away, to avert the eyes from an object. I averted my gaze because the sight was so awful. Or to avert a danger, to ward off, to prevent the occurrence or effect. So how can the danger be averted? We averted the disaster. Yeah, so to bluff your way out of something, that would be a way of evading it. So why have you been avoiding sugar? Yeah, you could avoid sugar. You try not to eat it. You try not to let it see. The true meaning of life eludes us. Good. Good evening, Vitaly. What have I been up to since we last touched base? I've been working with my bees. Okay, so let's see. She tried to avoid the household chores. Okay, dodge, to move sideways. I love this. Yes, that's good vibes. So to dodge, to sidestep, to move sideways, to duck when the football is aimed at you. So to dodge something, to avoid by moving suddenly out of the way. He dodged the traffic crossing the road. And then to avoid, to sidestep, the politician dodged the question with a meaningless reply. So to dodge is to avoid, to get out of the way with a sudden movement. This drink averts getting sick. Yeah, that would work, Roland. How can we avert racism? So avert, it's got this idea of prevent. Okay, nice to see you, Pepax. Shalom, Renyard. And then to evade, to get away from by cunning, to avoid using dexterity, subterfuge, address or ingenuity to cleverly escape from. He evaded his opponent's blows. The robbers evaded the police. Let's see, to evade is more than dodge or avoid. Yeah? This is a plan to stay away from them, to evade the force of an argument, to evade, to slip away, to evade from something. Okay, so now it gets ever slightly harder. Okay, my name's Alex, Jack. Vietnamese motorbikers can dodge the traffic jam, absolutely. In subway surfers, we have to dodge barriers and moving trains if we don't want to get caught by the guard. Okay, that's great. The usage of to dodge is ubiquitous. Yeah. Well, a dodge, a clever plan, a way of doing something. So look at this. Despite the financial success, happiness still eluded him, avoided him, evaded him. Okay, to evade tax. That's a really good question, Gurinder. To avoid tax, tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. Yeah? So you avoid tax by doing something legal. You evade tax by doing something illegal. Good evening, Tanetra. I dodged a punch from my brother yesterday. That sounds great. Yeah? To dodge. Yeah, you suddenly moved and his punch didn't hit you. So, despite the financial success, happiness still eluded, avoided, evaded him. So, Count Beauty says avoided. And Amin says eluded. I mix up elude and allude. They're different meanings. Elude to avoid, to escape. Allude to make a reference to. Why is one legal and the other not? I think evade, you are putting more effort into it, but it's part of the legal definition. Okay, so despite the financial success, happiness still... Keithy says eluded. That to me sounds pretty good. Any more answers for this one? Okay, so in this very first, Gurinder says eluded. Yes. Okay, so let me paste this here, and here we're using eluded, meaning escaped. So, despite the financial success, happiness eluded him, escaped from him. Yes, Elena. Good. Yes, Roland. Yeah, no, neither do I. They're so weird, Victor Gabriel. Okay, so eluded escaped him. If you say happiness avoided him, the happiness is deliberately trying to escape from him. And the same with evade, so it's eluded. Let's look at the next one. And we need an ED here. This isn't complete. Okay. Avoid. Bear with me 1 second. ED. Okay. The employer eluded, avoided, evaded the law, but the new accountant discovered his recreancy, his miscreancy. Okay, so elude is more abstract, yeah? Elude just means it escapes from you, you don't catch it. Whereas avoid and evade, it's actually trying to escape from you. The employer evaded, absolutely. Elude, to escape from, whereas evade, to take actions to escape from. Yeah. Illusion is a literary technique, very definitely. Evaded, Andriti, absolutely. Evaded, evaded, evaded. Cheyenne, I mean Tomek. Teptanetra, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so let's try the next one. Yeah? I guess you might say he avoided the law, yeah? But I think he evaded the law is better because they're talking about miscreancy here, so he's doing something wrong. Good, Rohan. And let's look at the next one. Many citizens prefer to use the metro because they can elude, avoid, evade, avert getting stuck in traffic. Yes, Vitalie, that's great. Happiness is very elusive. To avoid traffic, Pepax. Invaded is correct. So yes, they're slightly different. Well, this is all thanks to Roland, Elena. Yeah, he's the one who asked this question. So, Count Beauty, they could avert getting stuck in traffic. I think if you avert getting stuck in traffic, you actually stop the traffic from building up. I think avert might work, but my first choice is avoid. Yeah, I would avoid getting stuck. So avoid. Good, head through this. Yes, and then the very last one. To avoid traffic. Avoid is, I think, the best answer, Roland. And then finally, avoid. Well done, Lena. So, due to the rescue workers' expertise, all of the people were able to avert, evade, avoid the catastrophe. Maybe, Rohan, you take a special route to evade getting stuck in traffic, but avoid is the best. To avert catastrophe, yes, Pepax. Avert the catastrophe, Cheyenne. Avert the catastrophe, good, Count Beauty. Kirthi, Cheyenne. Amin, Elena. Avert the catastrophe. Okay, this is great. Okay, yes, Tanetra, Vitalie, Gorinda, head through this. Good. To avert. I wish this COVID-19 catastrophe had been averted. I think avoid also actually fits, but avert is a better word here. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave this and we're going to do phrasal verbs with get. Okay, catastrophe can be averted, not avoided. Yeah, the event probably happens, but you avert it. Okay, prevented. Yes, prevented, VG. I like your prevented there. So, phrasal verbs. First one, get about. To avert the situation from escalating, Roland. So, to be mobile, to be physically active. I can't get about so much since I hurt my hip. Informal, to become widely known, to be leaked to the public or a wider audience, to get out. If this story gets about, then I'm finished. To visit a variety of different places. That's the third party Brenda's been to this week. She certainly gets about. Yes, avert an aversion. Absolutely, I have an aversion. I try to avert it. So, to get about. How do you get about? Do you use a bicycle? Do you drive a car? Do you walk? Do you use a motorbike? Yeah. This story is getting about. It's getting about that you're going to get married next year. And then he gets about. He goes to lots and lots and lots of different places. London yesterday, Sydney tomorrow. You really get about, don't you? Okay, so to go from place to place. The news gets about. Yeah, a rumour gets about. There's a rumour getting about. Yeah, so I don't get out much, so I don't get out and about much. I'm at home quite often. The decrepit old man can still get about effortlessly. That sounds like me. And you have to get about more often if you want to avoid obesity. That's a great one, Count Beauty. I really like your examples. Okay, so yes, this is to get about. Due to heavy traffic, it is increasingly difficult to get about. Yeah, you have to avoid the traffic somehow. The rumours about their divorce are getting about. That's good, Elena. Good example. It's getting about that you've been giving candles to the kids in our neighbourhood. Yeah, giving them candles sounds quite fun. And I've got to clear this one up. So, to get across. Yeah, to cross or to move from one side to the other, literally or figuratively. In heavy rain, the cavalry couldn't get across the river. It's impossible to get across with all the checkpoints closed. Or to make an idea evident, to successfully explain a thought or a feeling, to put over, we saw the other day. Did I get my idea across? I'm trying to get across the idea that you need to do this more slowly. A power broker is somebody who can help you to be powerful, to be more powerful. So the US maybe is a power broker. It says which government is going to be favoured if it gets into power. So life is all about getting about. Yeah, people need to get about. Hey, candies, okay. Have I got my point across or not? Yes, you've definitely got your point across. You've explained the idea. You've made it evident. I don't know how it got about when I tucked it to my heart. Okay. Lockdown has restricted people from getting about in their normal lives. How did the rumours about that love affair get about? Here, giving candies to kids, or to kinds. Okay, sometimes it becomes difficult to get across the hurdles of life. That's good. How did you get across the river? How did it can be difficult to get across the road. That's actually one of the things I noticed in India. I've had real problems getting across big roads. It can be very, very difficult to get across, to get from one side to the other. So I hope I've got the meaning of this phrasal verb across nice and easily. So, to get after, to move into action in pursuit of something, to get to the other bank, we may take a boat to get across the river, over the bridge. The bully got his point across by giving him an ultimatum. Good, Cheyenne. Okay, so to get after, to get into action, get across, go across. Yes, very definitely. Get something across, get an idea across. I got across it, I got across the bridge. I got the idea across, I got it across, Vitalia. Okay? And Rohan, due to the pandemic, you can't get across the city. Can we really get across this pandemic? Yes, I'm sure we can. Majaya. Transitive means it has a direct object. So, for example, maybe we're good. I think we are connected again. Okay, so we will start with get after. It's my connection problem. Yes, and yeah, it definitely tells me I'm connected now. So to get after, to move into action in pursuit of something. Yeah, he's not getting after his degree. If you want to win, you've got to get after it. To move into action in an attempt to catch or defeat another. Do you think the girl's going to ask you out? Get after her. To attempt to convince another to move into action. Parents get after their children to do homework for the best. He gets after a lot of trivial activities and does not spend enough time learning English. Good, well done. Okay, no, it's my connection that suddenly said I don't want to let the live stream go on, but we're back now. You have to get after your dreams. Go after, try to get. That's a good one, Vibes. I like it. Yeah, get after it. A cat gets after a mouse. That's a good example, Count Beauty. I love it. Yeah, you have to get after your dreams. You just can't just sit there. The talented student always gets after the others about their lack of knowledge. Yeah, he's always trying to convince them to move it. This guy hasn't paid his bill. Would you get after him? Yeah, would you chase him up? Yeah, persuade him to do it. I'm trying to get after my students. Yeah, so I have to get after your online stuff if I really want to learn English. That's good, Gorinda. Okay, get after, chase. That's great. So Rohan. I need to see the sentence, Rohan. I can't find it. It probably got lost somewhere in the middle of the. No, the last one I can see from you is get across the city, Gorinda. So please would you send it again? Get after him and do what? I love it. After recovering from COVID, I was too depressed to get after my pursuit of knowledge, but no longer. I've always got after my daughter to brush her teeth. That's a very good thing, head through this. Yeah? If you get after people, they don't always do what we ask them to do, unfortunately. And that's maybe part of the problem. We have to get after our dreams if we want to achieve them. Absolutely, Victor Gabriel. And Kerthi, he lumbered to get after the task he was assigned. Yeah, that sounds fine. Okay, so to get ahead, to advance towards success. So yeah, you need to get after your dreams if you want to get ahead. Yeah, learning English is a good way to get ahead. The police are getting after the criminal. Good. Count, he perpetually tries to get after his friend to pay the debts, but the last one always eludes him. That's very good, Count. Get after success and get it across. Okay. Is it get after or go after your dreams? Let's see, you could use both. I think it's probably more common go after your dreams vibes, but get after your dreams is certainly good as well. What's wrong with get something across? I don't think there's anything wrong with to get something across. I'm trying to get my point across. I always get after the perfect job but it's an elusive idea. Yeah, but it's good to get after something that's perfect, Roland. And then to get ahead of, to reach a position that's ahead of something or someone else. So I'm trying to get ahead of the competition. Yeah, I'm trying to get ahead intransitive by studying English. Get across, put across, absolutely, yes. Tanetra, I studied hard to get ahead academically. That's very good. It's a good way of getting ahead. Like that, you can get ahead of the other students. Ibrahim, to get after a chimera of the rat race. I love that chimera. Yeah. I get after my children a while ago. So I got after my children a while ago. I like your idea to get after the chimera of the rat race. I like that, Ibrahim. Okay. In order to get ahead in life, you must be assertive. Maybe. Count, if you want to speak fluent English, you have to get ahead by practicing it every day. And Elena, the student got ahead of the professor in his research work. Very good. Our society has got ahead over the last decade. Faded. Okay, that's nice of you, Faded. Yes, to get after. To get after, Ibrahim. Here's an aspiring young man who is going places and tries to get ahead in his struggle. Good. He walked faster and got ahead of me as we reached the car. Yeah, that sounds good. So let's try the next one. The next one's to get along. Okay, so to interact or coexist well without trouble or argument. I wish the kids would get along better. Yeah, she never did get along with her brother. Yeah, they're getting along well, they're getting along badly. To get along, to survive or to do well enough. She didn't have enough money, didn't have a lot of money, but she had enough to get along. To get by as well would work with this one. Yeah? Okay, so people get along well, they get along badly, have a good relationship. Or to get along, my English is getting along because I've been getting after it. Cheyenne, no? He got ahead of the other students by beefing up his knowledge in the area. That's good, Kirthi, my intuition got me ahead of others, I believe. That's good. Get ahead in life, in your job. Yeah, that works very nicely. Yeah? More than get along, you get ahead. Good evening, Emin. So, I don't know, the different political parties have found it very difficult to get along in this time of COVID. Yeah, I wish different nations would get along better. And then to survive, how are you getting along? How are you doing? Are you getting by? So it's quite difficult to get along with someone. She never did get along with her brother. So it's quite difficult to get along with illiterate people. I always get along with my online friends. Yeah, but you're a friendly guy, VG. Although I do not earn a lot of money, I get along with my colleagues. That works nicely. This widow tries to keep the wolf at the door by getting along with her few possessions. I'm sorry, Hedru, my connection is so bad as well. Yeah? Okay, VG. The difference between connecting to the web and connecting to the internet. I think it's probably the same thing. Well, let's see. If you connect with Skype, you're connecting to the internet, but you're not connecting to the web. So connecting to the web, you're doing it with a search engine. Job satisfaction is the redeeming feature, getting along with people. Too many people who are leaders by nature can't get along well in one group. Good, Elena. Hadi, getting along with little knowledge would not let you get ahead or go ahead. Trying to make them get along together is like putting a cat among the pigeons. That works nicely. But trying to make them get along together, make somebody get. Tanetra, I notice students get along well with each other in this class, so I like attending this lecture. Me too, I'm glad the way people get along so well. You expect me to believe that? Get along, yeah, that would work as well. Hi, Hilda. Okay, and vibes. Nervousness got the better of him, and he couldn't get his speech across clearly. But that's not the end of the world. He's getting along perfectly because he's more confident to get ahead in the field. Good. I got to go and I have to go. They're the same. They're the same, good Inda. Website and internet, interconnect websites. Thank you, Faded. Rohan, you need to get ahead in order to get selected in the interview. Good. I gotta go is contracted and more informal. Yes, Vibes. Pepax. You can hate your job at first, but don't worry, you'll get along. That's good. Idiomatic, it means figurative. It means like something that is similar but different, working in the same way. I was co-opted to the group, but I got along well. That's very good, Kirthy. Victor Gabriel, my American friends like to use gotta go instead of have to go. Very definitely. Okay, and let me just get the next one in place. Okay, so yes, the next one, get around. It doesn't quite work. Okay. Manjira, many a couple don't get along well despite living under the same roof. Good, Manji. Karambit. I hope it goes along nicely. Yeah, I hope it gets along nicely. I get alone with them. Yeah. Okay, Vibes. Yes. Words don't have their literal meanings. Thanks, Vibes. And they merely get along on a minimum of existence. To get along by family reunion. Teamwork is always about getting along. I quite like that. So to get around. To move to the other side. This is like get about as well. To move to the other side of something such as an obstruction by deviating from a direct course. The tide was too high and we couldn't get around the rocks. We'll get a good view of the mountains when we get around the bend. and then figuratively, idiomatically, to avoid or to bypass an obstacle, to evade, to get around, to avoid, to get around. So tax consultants look for ways to get around the law. That would be legal. To circumvent the obligation and the performance of a chore, to get out of. How did you get around having to write the report? My brother always gets around cleaning his room himself. And then to transport from place to place, how's he going to get around without a car? Granny uses a wheelchair to get around. I won't go along with some lie you made up. That's very definitely go along vibes. We can't simply get around this problem pretending it doesn't exist. It was impossible to get around the argument. Good, Elena. Karambit. We got around the neighbourhood because we thought it was dangerous. Yes, okay, we went around the neighbourhood. When the news that she was handing out free candies in the neighbourhood got around, extended, a lot of kids showed up where she was. Sherwin, I purchased a new vehicle to get around. Great to see you, Sherwin. Yeah, so to get around, to get about, to move from place to place, or to get around a law, to get around a regulation. And count. The Titanic couldn't get around the iceberg because it already was deviated from the direct course. Double deviation would make no sense. Okay. Manjira, I could not get my head around the fact that a person could be so ungrateful. Yeah, to get your head around something, to understand something. They are able to get around the conflict with the grumpy men. Yeah, to find a solution, to go round the outside of it. We sometimes need to ignore some people to get around many problems. Our work is about getting along. Yeah, that's good. I rarely get around. I prefer to stay at home. That sounds great, VG. What's the difference between travel, get around, and get about? I think travel could be further, whereas get around is normally more local. Yeah. I get about town, but I travel. I travelled to New York, I travelled to Delhi, I travelled to Kandy, I travelled to Beijing. Yeah. Whereas get around, I think, is normally more local. It was an elusive task. I could have evaded it, but somehow I got around it. Good, Kirthy. Hilda, I get around this neighbourhood by walking or riding a bike. Good. And Hilda, okay, no, Gorinda, I don't want to get around outside in these trying times. Absolutely. Employees should not shirk accountability. They should not try to find a way around accountability. And Cheyenne, the sanctions imposed by the rival country were got around cunningly. Yeah, people cunningly get around sanctions. Norman John, I'm looking for a native teacher who can help me to improve my English. Okay, trip is shorter. Yes, very definitely, Roland. Vibes, he was reluctant to proceed to the exam, but his mother nagged him. She got after him. How will you get ahead in life if you don't pass them? You'll never get around to studying hard. So his mum got round him to take a step. And he came around. Yeah, we definitely need this one to get around to. Notice to get around to plus ing. To get around to doing something, to eventually do something. Haddy, protesters blocked the road, so I had to get around to get to the office. Good. I can't wrap my head around the fact that people can't get along, because it's hard to get about these days. Good. Yeah. And Okay, Victor Gabriel, in October I'll get around going to my cousin's wedding. Yeah, to eventually begin or return to a task. Someday I'll get around to organising this mess. Notice get around to doing or get round to doing. And Vitalia, it's been meaning to rain all day, but it hasn't quite got round to it. Good. Sherwin, the speeding duel between the horse jockeys made it difficult for them to get around each other. That's good. He always gets around, so not from Rome, he always gets around paying off his debt. I mean, I need to get around to filing my taxes after having avoided them for the last 5 years. Yeah, to get around to. When the news of this scandal gets around, yeah, when it gets from place to place, you'll be finished. Okay, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a good point for us to stop today, and we will continue with get next week. I think we're going to have several weeks with get somehow. Get around someone is to pester and make them change their mind. Yeah. He always manages to get around his mum, to get her to change her mind, to get her to let him do what he wants to do. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming. It's been really nice to see you all. I hope you all take care. With a bit of luck, we should have another live stream same time next week, and I'll see you all soon. Yeah, we'll get around to learning the phrasal verbs with get next Sunday. Very good, Camp Beauty. You're suspiciously happy today. What are you getting at? Okay, you can't go around getting around for free. Yeah. Okay, thank you all.